Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining our next training video. In this video, we're going to be talking about doing initial setup of the Palo Alto firewall. Before we begin, you'll need to be a little bit prepared. The absolute first thing you should have available is an email from Palo Alto that will tell you that the box is registered and that licenses are active. If you don't have this email, please contact your local Palo Alto sales team. Looks like this, by the way. And please contact your local Palo Alto sales team or local Palo Alto systems engineer. This registration is required for both evaluation units as well as newly purchased units. So I will walk you through the registration process and how to activate the licenses. There are 5 steps to getting Palo Alto firewalls up and running, and we will go through those. So first off, you have to register the box. And that's why that email is important. We'll talk about that. Secondly, we will need to give the box an IP address. Third, you can set the time. This is not required, but it is an optional step that's helpful for later on down the road when you're looking at logs and things of that nature. Fourth, we'll want to activate the licenses, and fifth and finally, we will want to upgrade the software in the databases. Okay, so let's just walk through that. Again, first off, you should have an email that looks like this. Okay, and this email is pretty important because it tells you that the licenses are ready and the device is available to be registered. It also includes instructions on how to register down here at the bottom, and the serial number. The serial number is also your auth code, so bear that in mind. So from here, what you do is you go to support.paloaltonetworks.com. You can just click on the link if you want, and we will come to a page that looks like this. Oh, actually, I'm already logged in. Let me just log out for a second. So actually, you'll come to a page that looks like this, and you'll see a couple prompts here. If you want, you can put in, if you have an existing user login, you could put in your username and password. If you don't, there is a link here that says register, and you can click on that link to register for a new ID and your device. So what you would do is put in your user information, a user ID, email, password, and then down here you'll see where it says device serial number. This is where we might copy and paste the serial number from the email that we received. Okay, this is the serial number of our device, and if we choose to do so at this point, we would click register. It'll create the ID and register that device for us. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and log in with my credentials, just to demonstrate what it would be like if you already have one. So if you already have credentials, you could go ahead and log in, and then you'll see a link over here that says My Devices. If I click on that link, I will get a page that shows the devices that I have registered to my account at this point. What I might do to register a device at this point is put in that serial number. I'll click Register Device. It will show up in my list, so now I see the serial number here. Here's the device, and if I choose to, I can click Activate. Actually, we're going to activate via the web UI, so it's not a requirement to do it from here. Okay. So at this point, though, what we do need to do is move on to step 2. We've completed step 1, and so now what we need to do is go to the management interface and give it an IP address. So the way that we do that is we'll go to our serial console. And I'm just using Hyperterminal. It's configured for 9600 N81 with hardware flow control. If you choose, you could just, I'll just cancel that for the moment because I know it's configured. We'll say OK, and oh, I should probably just disconnect and reconnect so you get the full idea of what it looks like. You will get a login prompt that looks like this, and what we will do is log in, type admin. And at this point, what we want to do is change the IP address of the box. The default is 192.168.1.1. I'm going to change that because that's not a good one for my network. So I'm going to go ahead and type configure, and I'm going to type set device config setting session. Oh, whoops. Sorry. System default IP address 192.168.1.150. Alrighty, so that's going to set the system IP address. I also need to set default gateway and DNS. So device config system default gateway 192.168.1.1 and DNS DNS-primary 4.2.2.1. Okay. These are important. Default gateway and DNS are important because you'll want to be able to have the box go out to retrieve its license and the software updates and the database updates. Okay. So that's it. At this point, I will just type the word commit. This will commit these changes to active memory, and then after this, I should be able to ping out to the rest of the world. We'll just want to confirm that in just a moment. And we'll just check on that. So also these commands are available in our documentation if you're interested, or you can contact our support team as well. So let's just quit now, and we can just say ping host, and we are pinging to the outside world, to Google, so everything looks like it's working. Okay, great. So that's all we need to do at the command line. So that completes step 2. Okay, so now what we'll want to do is go to our device, and notice I typed HTTPS, so we're going to open a browser up to the device. HTTPS is what's enabled by default. HTTP won't work, so you'll need to do that. And now I'm going to put in my admin credentials. Admin again is the default. It's going to give me a warning about how I'm using the default admin credentials and that I may want to change that. Okay. And so what I will do at this point is now come over here to device, and we're going to move to step 3 because we're going to set the time. So over here you can set the time 2 ways. You can either configure an NTP server by clicking edit here and actually putting in the NTP parameters. I'm going to skip that and actually just set the time manually. Okay, so here's the time. I can just say edit, set the time manually. It's actually 11:27 right now, and the date looks okay to me, so I'll skip that, and I'll say okay. Okay, so we've set the time. Great. Now we'll move on. Some people also like to set the geolocation. This helps with the threat map monitoring tool, but I'm going to skip that for now. So from here, though, the more interesting part is now we need to activate the licenses. So I will click here for licenses, and I will say retrieve license keys from license server. If you've already put your box in, then that's all you need to do. If you did it on the support page, that will go ahead and retrieve your license keys, and then you should be all set. Okay. If it says no on this portion for the URL filtering, and you did order URL filtering, give this a little bit of a minute. It will come up eventually. If you click on this activate using authorization code, this may not help you at the moment. Okay, it's all about registering first and then clicking here. Give this a little time, and you'll see an activate link show up here. Okay, but we're going to move on for a moment and then come back to that just to see it again. So let's go to the dynamic updates page. So a couple things. We will see that we need to check on our update information. This is going to be for the application ID and threat filtering database. Okay, we'll see that there is now an update. Once I hit check now, we'll see that there is an update available, and we will want to download that and get that going. I'm going to not download it right now just for the sake of time for our video. URL filtering as well. We see that there is an update, and if we choose to do so, we can hit the upgrade button. One item I will say on initial install for URL filtering, if we have never done a URL filtering license on a device before, adding URL filtering will cause a reboot, and so you just want to bear that in mind. Okay, so notice that. Software upgrades as well, we'll want to take a look at that. At this point, when you first click it, if this is a brand new box, it will just show you a blank page. If we click refresh, it's going to go out and grab the latest software builds from the Palo Alto Networks support sites, and we'll see here that the latest version is 3.06. And so I may also want to click download and then eventually install. So you'll see, for example, 3.00 is downloaded, but it's not installed. 3.02 is what is currently downloaded and installed. And so if you download 3.06, you'll eventually have a link here that says install. Again, upgrading the software will require a reboot, which I didn't want to go through for the sake of time on the video, but you'll want to complete that step as well. Okay, so fantastic. We completed step 5. We went through the upgrade of our software and our databases. And that's it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For any additional questions, please feel free to contact your local Palo Alto systems engineer or email us at support@paloaltonetworks.com. Okay? So thanks very much, and I will look forward to seeing you on our next video.